we hold a rapid improvement event in November here at AFCEC for the purpose of optimizing our process. We had a process that we've been using for several years that was taking us 90+ weeks to award an ESPC project. And I think we were being overly optimistic that it was only taking 90 weeks to award a project. So we brought in people from across the Air Force, base level, MAGCOM, air staff level. We brought in Kermit and his boss from FIMP. We also brought in people from OSD to help take a look at our process, and we even had the industry represented at least at the start of the rapid improvement event, and took a look at our process from start to finish. How can we improve upon our process? Yeah, we wanted to cut our execution time, but we just didn't want to start cutting things out of the timeline. Anything that we made to decrease our execution time, we wanted to make sure we actually added value to the process too. So the things that in the long run helped us cut our process time almost in half. Right now we're advertising, everything goes according to Hoyle. We think we can get one of these awarded from the time the notice of opportunity gets out on the street to task order signed in 54 weeks. The heavy hitters for that is that now instead of doing a preliminary assessment on all the facilities in the project, we'll take a random sampling of the facilities in the project. Maybe one admin building, one process energy building, one hangar, or something like that, based on what we're looking at to do for the whole project. Then we'll determine from the preliminary assessments we get on that sample, we'll down select to the one ESCO that'll go forward and develop the investment grade audit. So by taking a whole step out of that selection process, that'll speed it up. We've also centralized our contracting and legal support for ESPCs at AFCEC. The way it was previously was the individual contracting officer at the base would work through FIMP's contracting officer at Golden to award the task order. And as you can imagine, when I'm saying that some of these projects took 90+ weeks to develop, we had contracting officers go and come. So it was not uncommon for us to sit there and actually have to train 2 or 3 contracting officers during the course of the project development. Most contracting officers, if they were lucky, would see one of these in their career. All right, if they won the lottery, maybe 2. So it was always an uphill struggle to educate the acquisition folks. And when you get right down to it, these are more of a financial deal. The engineering piece of it is really the simple part. But it's the acquisition process and the financing that makes these so difficult. So we centralized the contracting at AFCEC. We've got the first couple of notices of opportunities that they're working on for us. Now, getting the first couple out on the street through the contracting officers at AFCEC are actually a little quicker than some of the ones we're seeing from the base. But we weren't expecting to save much time for the first few through that pipeline. It's the third, the fourth, the fifth one that we go through, and we're dealing with the same 3 or 4 contracting officers that we were dealing with the first couple. Also, because we've got 3 or 4 whose whole life now revolves around the ESPC process, when contracting officer A decides to go on a 6 weeks cruise or something like that, work doesn't come to a screeching halt because B and C have been involved in the process. Or if B takes another job working for the Navy, we're not starting all over from scratch to bring another contracting officer up to speed. We've already got a couple other that have been working the project or know what's going on so that the new person that's hired can be brought up to speed. So we're going to save as we go through the ensuing projects. We're going to make some significant savings there just on the acquisition process. In another area where we're going to see a lot of savings, or it seems to be prime for a lot of savings, previously, when we got to the investment grade audit, and that's really where the rubber meets the road. I mean, that's where the ESCOs and their folks really get down into the details with the project. And that's what started out as like maybe a 100-page preliminary assessment turns into the 3,000-page contract. We were waiting till that IGA was at the 95% point before we as Air Force laid eyes on it. At that point, the ESCOs had developed a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, and had gotten pretty attached to what they'd been working on. Likewise, folks at the installation had gotten pretty attached to what they were seeing or hearing, and all of a sudden now big Air Force is looking at it and saying, oh, we don't like that, what do you mean here? Well, these numbers are wrong there. So then we started the iterative back and forth, and it added a lot of time, and it jacked up the cost. But I'm looking at the taxpayer. You know, when we sign these contracts for 20-some years, or in the case of a UESC for 10, you know, I want to make sure the contractor's getting what they're paying for the length of time. That's part of my charter. So we looked at how that was going on, and then we also thought the normal construction project, when you're doing design reviews, you don't wait till you're 95% and then look at it. You know, 30, 60, 90 type thing. Well, why can't we do that with the ESPCs? So at the 30%, we'll see what you're looking at for your baseline development. We'll look at your draft M&V. We'll start looking at some of those drawings and sketches you've put together. And if we don't like something at that point, or we've got questions, or the numbers aren't adding up, you know, we're not delaying the project, and we're also not going to wait till you're at the 100% or 95% and look at something that, you know, an ECM that everybody's fallen in love with that we decide we really don't want to do from the Air Force perspective. You know, because, you know, you guys are in it for business, and if you're not going to make a buck, why are you in it? So, you know, if we cut out an ECM that you spent like 9 months developing, I'm thinking those development costs are going to get rolled back in that project somewhere. So we're going to do the iterative design review at the 30, 60, 90%, and besides speeding up, I think it's going to give us a better product at the end too. So all in all, it was a very good rapid improvement event. The first couple of notices of opportunities are in the legal and contracting review right now, and we'll see just once those get out on the street if it works out like we're hoping it'll work out. But it's got to be better than the old system that we were working under.